Hello. It is Monday, and everybody knows what Monday is. It's Monday Market 15 here at RCO Network. Rob Morales. Howdy. With me, I'm articulating myself better. With me, as always, is Great American Title's very own Ashley Miller.
Hello. And he named it Market 15 before he brought me on. We should have named it.
It probably takes way too long now, but it is what it is. We just keep going. It's supposed to be a 15-minute show, but it ends up being 30, and we're here to talk about real estate and everything else that makes you money sometimes. We did talk pre-show today a little bit different. I think we're taking a little bit different format and on seeing different ways how we can help you, at least give you perspective on some of the things that we may or may not be doing. Yes. Not everything. Oh,
well, and we're not financial advisors or CPAs, so anything that we say is just based upon the things that we've experienced in our life that have helped us.
So they cannot be used against us in a court of law.
Amen.
Hopefully. I don't know.
Right.
But we're here to have fun. We're just entertainment, so hopefully we bring some information and things to help you make a better decision in your life, in your house, whatever.
Well, I feel like one of the biggest things that we have experienced is Robert being a real estate agent, people are wanting to get out of the rental industry. They're wanting to out of renting and want to buy a house. And I've seen a lot on social media that rents are going up. And as always, Robert always sends me these articles at 6 a.m., which I am up, by the way. And
I try to send them before or after, whatever.
Yeah, they're around that area. That's totally fine. So I actually really don't care because we get up early, but I get up early and late. But so actually this morning I got up and went to the gym. I'm really proud of myself.
I know, you told me 4:30.
I did.
I'm very proud.
Well, no, I didn't get up at 4:30. I got up at 5. Well, I got up after that and I got to the gym by 5:30, which was impressive. And then I was ready to leave by 5:35.
Rentals.
Anyway, so rentals. But I have seen this is a lot of rents are going up and people are panicking.
The funny thing is I would say the last probably 2 to 3 weeks, call after call about, I can't find a house. I don't know where I'm going to go. I need to find a rental. And, people I have no options. And that's a crazy thing. And it's very overwhelming sometimes because, natural me, I want to help everybody. And now I'm left and it sucks. I have to kind of filter out who I can and can't help because so many property managers are being so picky right now on who they select and being part of their community or being part of their rental. And it has nothing to do other than credit score, and even pets. I mean, I'm sorry to say if you have a dog or a cat, even being picky about that is just insane, and I used to have a pet, but I don't right now because, you get too emotional, you get too connected and you can't say no. And it's getting to the point now where I'm even suggesting that people find a different alternative for their pets. Unless they get some sort of medical, like a waiver for
which you can do, by the way.
You can, and at that point, they can't be discriminatory against the pets. They can be discriminatory against other things like your credit score, your financial portfolio, but having a pet is definitely a barrier to finding a rental house. And it just sucks because, again, I'm naturally inclined to help or want to help everybody, but I'm finding myself having to filter out, and I just can't do it. It's just overwhelming.
There are some websites you can turn your animal into that, but it's still at the end of the day, whether it is they still have, come on, we're human. Like, they can kind of do whatever they want at the end of the day. Like, they're not supposed to. They can't discriminate against, but they're like, oh, well.
Yeah, and that's the one thing is like, when you apply for a home loan, there are certain criteria. They don't meet you. They just base everything off your financial portfolio. I don't want to say people are out there being discriminatory for pets or whatever other. I would say if there was room for discrimination, it's in the rental market.
Yeah.
And people will get back to you or not get back to you based on just your credit score alone.
I want to know, we're live on Facebook? Oh, crap, I don't have Facebook up. So, I know I don't. I wish
we're only live right now.
I know, but so I'm asking, like, how many people, I want to know how many people have actually experienced trying to rent a house where their animal has, and I say their animal, like meaning their dog, their cat, whatever, has made a difference on them being able to rent a property.
Yeah, I would say if you have a Gila monster, or I've even come across roosters.
Oh, my neighbor had a rooster.
I mean, I've had people try to rent a home and saying, hey, this is my rooster. It's a family pet.
It gets me up. It's your alarm clock.
Sure, but trying to find them a place to live is definitely a barrier into that, and it just sucks. So if you have animals, I mean, if there are alternatives, if they can go to a family member just temporarily until you get more situated long term, I mean that's a suggestion I think at this point, just because I'm trying to find every which way to help people out there, and then on top of it, if you're not working on your credit score or working on your credit situation, I mean it's been really difficult to find anybody, especially if you're under 600 right now.
Yeah.
Between the 600 to 700, you're okay. 700 and above, you're pretty much gold. Everybody will accept you. The chances are more than anything else.
Who's over 700? Not me.
Well, I'm starting to see that more too. I'm starting to see people that are wanting to buy a house, well qualified, but because of the competition, it's just a challenge.
So can we go and talk about a few things that go into this? Rent's increasing by 20%, almost. I mean, over the board. Well, when I looked at the map, like Texas, like a lot of the East Coast, Arizona is not quite 20%, but it's about to go up another 10% in Arizona. Well, he said 7.6 be in 10%.
Well, let's take a look at the CPI data. That was saving that for a little bit, but we can go right into that. So housing is up, if you notice, year over year, and I think this is low. Housing is right here in this little section here where it says housing. It says it's 5.9% year over year. And I think that's low.
Year over year. I don't think that, but we're in the now. Yeah. Like what's happening in the next couple, like honestly, I feel like in the next 6 months. Yeah. It's going up a lot more than that.
And it's not just housing. It's every other part. Basic needs. So like fuel, food, and alcohol could be essentially a basic need. It's up 3.7%. But
in this society, it's a basic need.
But other food at home, 9.2. I don't know what that is. The highest is in meats and poultry. But that definitely impacts decisions regarding your housing situations. Like, well, so an example would be coming into this market, I have a landlord who wanted the rental comps for some of the communities that are in his possession that are coming up for rent renewal. So he approached me and said, hey, can you run comps on these? And I ran the comps, and the current tenants he has in there are paying like $1,600 to $1,800 a month. The comps I ran were ranging from $2,000 to $2,200. He's like, hey, I want to raise it up to that point. And I'm like, oof, yeah. And
is it 22?
2,200, yeah.
Okay.
2,200 is a basic, a decent home, decent area, I suppose.
It's $600 difference.
Just a normal house, $600 difference year over year. And this is a person that rented last year who's looking at renewing this next year. It's just insane. And so when you go into budgeting for your family, because we were gonna talk about budgeting today, you have to budget that extra $300 to $400 to find a house. I think that's primary, and then that's deviated away from like your basic needs like food and fuel. Like, and so I can see why there's so many people motivated not to go back to a drive home or drive to work job. They want to work from home because that's saving them maybe a couple $300 a month in gas. Well, because gas is up too.
The difference in that, so 600 times that's $7,200, right? So that's $7,200 a year.
We're doing quick math.
So $7,200 a year. How could you find a way? Because that could be, so if somebody works for 9 to 5 or 8 to whatever your hours are.
8 to 6.
That's a big chunk of money.
Yep.
That's a lot. And now that food's going up, so now let's add another $200 onto that. That's $800.
Yeah.
So now $1,200. Now you're looking at, $9,400. I mean, that's big difference. So how can we help you or educate you, again, not a CPA, not a financial advisor, on how to not basically freak the F out? Because it's scary it's AF. Can I use AF? Scary.
Sure.
AF, right?
Or PG-13.
PG-13. So,
sort of. I don't know.
But I think that every person that works a 9 to 5 has the ability to finagle their finances, meaning carpooling, not getting Starbucks, packing your lunch.
Well, so like
paper bagging it.
I think what you're really getting at is expenses, like how to monitor and maintain expenses. Sure. And I think there's a lot of people out there that talk about that, and we'll talk about the basic ones, and you brought it up, minimizing expenses. Right? You gave up Starbucks.
I haven't drank coffee in like 10 years. If I do, then
how dare you? How do you not drink coffee?
I had like 2 sips one time when I came in here. I was like, bah.
How do you not drink coffee? What's wrong with you?
I just don't drink caffeine. I just don't. Not my jam.
Anyway, so again, reviewing and going over your portfolio. I think a lot of families are doing that too. You know, what can I cut out because, you know, things are just shit's getting expensive. I mean, that's really the bottom line. Just things are getting expensive. You know, I don't have any kids. You do. You know, and you have a family situation where you do have to monitor that a little bit closer. You know, I'm maybe fortunate, maybe not so unfortunate that I don't have children at this point, but I do see the rise of things coming up. You know, spending gas money just to come to work. I definitely see that when you spend in, you know, $80 a month or $80 every once in a week and a half. I mean, it is impacting us. So if anybody out there is impacted by some of the things that we're doing here, we would love to hear some of those comments and feedback. You know, and some of the ways that you're actually monitoring your expenses would be nice to kind of give some insight to us too. But reviewing your bills, I think subscriptions or those blind subscriptions that you're paying for, I think is another one.
That reminds me, I need to check mine real quick.
Do you have like Netflix, Hulu, and all that stuff?
So Hulu's through the phone company. We have Netflix.
or subscription share, right?
We have Spotify.
So like if you have a brother that has Netflix, maybe get the account name.
Yeah. No, we do. Like our whole family, we have like
I heard there was a crackdown on that though.
Well, it has. No? I mean, it just depends. I don't know. But we don't want to like. There's so many subscriptions. I will tell you one thing we do is I research because we have multiple drivers in our family. Yeah. We drive out of our way, not out of our way that it doesn't make sense, but out of our way as I calculated it because I'm like this crazy, we are spreadsheet people. Yeah. And we will actually drive a little bit further to get gas at another location and fill up there, but then also put it on a credit card that gives cash back. So,
you know what I mean? Doing research.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I know that if we drive to this gas station, we can get gas there, but then if we put it on this like credit card, like for Cameron, like he's getting his new credit card, but not his credit card, he's 16, excuse me, but I added him onto my credit card, A, to build his credit, and B, because we're going to get cash back, and then I know how much he's actually spending on gas, and then I don't have to reimburse him, because I do reimburse Cameron for his gas, so kind of like it's like playing that game like we were talking about. It's like playing Tetris a little bit. Like, yes, go here, but then we use this, and then I pay you back, and then but we get points and we get credit and we get cash back, and so are we paying attention to things like that?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a coupon kind of situation where you're getting credits of some sort, or diverting some normal expense and getting some sort of cash back on. I mean, I think the whole incentive for those credit card companies is that you have those lingering debt on so that they can tack on the interest, which is why they give you that kind of cash back. But if you turn around
and pay it off right away, which is kind of the thing. Like I'm already paying my son it's about $80 every other week for gas, right? Yeah. So I'm already, once he gets it, I already sell him money. So why would I not let him use the credit card to build his credit and also is building mine, and then he uses it, and then I turn around and automatically pay it off anyway. The money's already going out. It's already accounted for, except now it's less because we found a gas station. I know this sounds really weird. I'm like weird about gas. So we found a gas station that was less.
You are from Morristown, so.
No, I'm not from Morristown.
I heard those people are weird out there.
But then, and it also goes back to educating ourselves. So we're in our, well, I'm not quite 40, but this year I'll be 40.
Hey, be careful.
You're in your
be careful
40s.
with that line of questions.
I've got teenagers in high school, and I ask them, I know this for a fact, there's no educational classes in high school.
Well, there's no budgeting classes. There's no, one of the things, and we'll talk about it in a minute, is ways to make income. Yeah. There's no classes on that. We only teach our kids how to do math and English, and even English isn't necessarily done right.
No, and math is so ass backwards. It's like 1 plus 1. So divide 1 into a half and a half plus a half and a half, and now you get 2.
Well, when's the last time you used calculus?
Dude,
I've never used calculus.
Like, these kids' math is just insanity. I can't stand it because there are certain things they will use. They totally, absolutely, and I'll tell them, you will use it.
You know what we really need is like a stress management class. Like when shit hits the fan, what do you do kind of class? You know, instead of like, let's talk about derivatives and how exponential functions work. And you're like, unless I work for NASA or or I'm an engineer, I don't need any of this shit.
Some of these,
which is crazy.
We did switch Ryder from Horizon to PV, and they have some really cool hands-on training for like entrepreneurs. So they're hands-on courses, whether it's like mechanics or welding or
there's like a lot of those trades,
and I love that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, they're still not teaching these kids how to manage their money.
Like even shop class, like even
I was so good at shop.
Yeah, like working on your car. I mean, like changing your oil. I mean, there's certain, I think, life skills that need to be taught that we just kind of eliminate, and because the focus is English and math. Because
you need to learn when World War II was.
Well, I mean, there's some parts of that.
I mean, come on, but because that's gonna affect how you like what your credit score is gonna be, or if you can buy a car, if you can start a business. Like we teach these children. I say we, not I. Because I teach my children something different, things that are so not necessary. English, yes, but I mean, for sakes, there's Grammarly, there's autocorrect. Like, yes, and punctuation is great, but nobody is ever going to teach these kids how to manage, and I say kids, teenagers, whatever you want to call them, their money. And what happens? The world is revolved around education, finances, managing.
Yeah, or even learning a different language, like learning Spanish, learning Spanish from kindergarten versus Spanish in high school, because you don't remember you need to figure out how to talk to your landscaper, you know.
That was the one thing I loved about the PV school district was how they integrated emergent programs. So there's Mandarin emergent, there's Spanish emergent, there's a few more, and the boys have been in it. They've done ish, but it's been great because we're always going to need that, especially the way our society is moving right now, with people constantly migrating and moving around. Learning a second, third, fourth, fifth, I shouldn't say I wish. I have the ability to learn another language. I choose not to right now.
So we're getting into learn skills, and Gabby mentioned that's what we do. We share Netflix, Hulu, and other apps with the family. It saves us on a monthly basis. So Gabby knows how to do it. Gabby knows how to manage those subscriptions. But, we did talk a little bit about income, so income bearing. So the things that bring us money, not just cut back expenses, because I think that's the natural gravitation. I have a job. I need to, and I'm not making as much as I should, or haven't got that raise, or shit's hitting the fan, like, inflation. I'm going to cut expenses. So that's one aspect of it. So I absolutely agree. But the other aspect is income. How do we increase our income, versus just going to a 9-to-5 job? And you have various ways.
I do.
So I'll give one example, and you can go on your.
Okay.
So I had a friend. He never watches. So Wendell. So my friend Wendell bought a dump trailer.
I love that name.
He bought it, and you met him. You met him at the wedding.
Yeah.
He bought a dump trailer like 4 or 5 years ago when we were doing flips, and I made fun of the guy. He drove all the way down to Texas, and he's like, "Yeah, I can make money off this. Yeah, people need to dump stuff. Yeah." And I'm like, oh God! So you're gonna carry this big 16-foot long dumpster on wheels, and you're gonna park it in your backyard to do what? And I made fun of him at the time, and then come this weekend, when I needed somebody to throw my tile and stuff away that I'm working on my house, he's like, "Yeah, you want to borrow that dumpster now?" And like,
bam, in your face.
Yeah, and honestly, I gave him a little extra money. I gave him $200 just for using that, and over time, it's just paid for itself. Plus, he's made money over that 5 years because he's like, hey, I just I dumped some lady's sofa. It cost me about $50 total between dumping it, picking it up, and everything else. But I charged her $200 to get rid of it.
So what's great about this? It's over 6 ton.
Yeah.
So he can write that off on his taxes, because any vehicle over 6 ton you can write off. He's storing at his property, so I'm assuming he probably did like some sort of LLC or something like that. So now his house,
I have no idea.
He can use that as a storage facility and charge himself to store his own dump trailer there. Then he can write off gas on it, any sort of maintenance, and he can write off depreciation on it. So now that $4,500, did you say $4,500? Or did I just make that up in my head? Let's just assume it's $4,500.
I don't know what he bought. I don't know what he bought for the dump
Now he
trailer.
has a tax write-off for being over 6 ton. Now he can use his house as a tax write-off because he's storing it there. He can do his taxes on that. And I'm assuming his other vehicle transports it and takes care of that, right? So now he gets a write-off on that, and then you just use it. So it's not going to take him long to get his money back by any means. So it's actually really clever.
And that's the thing. It's like looking for these alternative ways to make money. And I mean, that's just an example of one. I mean, people, and you were talking about it before the show, people buying stuff at these, yard sales or auctions or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they fix them and reflip them. You were talking about your friend who did the
cup. So
cup thing,
here's three great. I'm gonna give.
I don't know if this is one of them.
No, that's not. That was a gift from somebody. But 3 great examples. Is one of my girlfriends. She bought this machine where if you're that's my alarm. If you're a woman and like you're getting married or you're having an event or a baby shower or whatever, or even a guy who wants to do some cool like Yetis. She bought this machine where she can put like their names on it, and then went on Etsy and started selling them. But that means that everything she buys and that machine, it's all a tax write-off for her. And her home now is a little bit because she works out of her home.
Well, and I think the thing to take away is to start a business.
Start a business, and
whatever
you can
it is.
even do. And this is between you and I, and probably whoever's watching. But there was a gal who she'll go on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, all these other places where you can sell things, but she'll find things that are free because people just want to they just want to get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
Go get them, clean them up if they even need that. Sometimes they don't even need it, and then turn around and sell them. So yes, there's an effort in driving, but at that point, like, what else is she doing? She's a stay-at-home mom, so she's doing it between the hours where her kids are at school, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to take away, because we got to start winding down. The other thing to take away is to learn something, learn a skill. And the example for me personally is I took up photography right after I took up the video work, and I was incessant about it, and I have at this point 5 cameras. And one of them is directly for photography, but I embraced it. I liked it. I enjoy taking people's photos, and I've been doing that for the past 3 years, and just continuing to develop that skill, and making it better. And when I did my taxes, I filed, and I still have some stuff to work out. I added up all the revenue from the photo and video work that I did last year. It was almost $9,000.
Yeah. That's going to be the number we came up with, $9,400 right there.
Yeah, and really so if you get into photography, it's very effing expensive. It's really expensive.
That's a different story.
A single lens will cost anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So I mean, it is an expensive hobby. I will say that, but so far I believe I've made just as much in the photography work as me putting in investing in it. And so in the next 2 to 3 years, it'll all be just profit.
Well, a few things that are cheaper to get into is for cleaning houses. Cleaning products, you can get them at the dollar store. Or, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Detailing vehicles. You can buy a pressure washer and soap and stuff. People will pay for it. And just and getting the word of mouth out. There's dog sitting. That's you don't need anything for that.
Yeah, I think
just promote yourself. On Nextdoor, there's so many things. We just got to start thinking outside the box. So if you are in the distress of going through that rent increase, or if you do want to buy a home, but you're you're a little fearful, you can dog sit for a couple of weekends. Find something. But I most importantly, what I loved what you said was photography. You're really good at it. And you're passionate about it.
I enjoy doing it. And I think that's really the key when you're looking for things to do, is to find something you enjoy doing. And it draws you back more than you really explore it. I have to find a business. It's not really that as much as you enjoy it. And if you're neurotic about it, you'll find your value in that. I truly believe if you find something you enjoy, you'll be neurotic about it, and it'll just kind of take over. And sometimes I wish I had more time for everything, but I don't, and it's still a side business, and it's still somewhat pretty good.
But you also love it. So there's there's a passion, but there's also a purpose, and the purpose is fulfillment.
You should see some of my photos.
They're super awesome. So I would suggest anybody who is in a few things, if you do have children, start educating them, because our school is not teaching them. They're trying to keep us poor. They are. They're trying to to keep us poor, but yet they still keep printing money. So that's a whole nother topic. If you're passionate,
well, there's
about
a whole
something,
philosophy there about like what government and people.
Show.
Yeah, that's.
And if your kids are passionate about something, heck yeah, let them be passionate about it. Find a way to make it happen because it's very simple. You can start a non-profit. Oh my gosh, I just said like 5 things at once. You can start a business. You can start a nonprofit like Robert's doing with all of his passionate things and bringing entrepreneurs together. And you guys, if you want to join us with being an entrepreneur.
I'll go ahead and put that up. Actually,
and do some education.
So this Thursday, we're talking about the entrepreneurial journey. This Thursday at 5:30 is the RCO Network Dreaming Bigger business networking event. So you're going to come and meet different entrepreneurs, people in the industry, people who have small businesses that are invested in helping each other. I think the really big takeaway and the thing that I had to learn as a small business owner is that, you feel very isolated, alone through that whole journey. I mean, there's been so many times where I've cried, and I admit I have cried. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what direction I'm going. And sometimes I just need to vent to somebody that's been in that similar position. And, I'm 8 years into this business now. And look, I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And I am aspiring to bigger and better things. And so much of the CEO Network journey is where we're at now, dreaming bigger. It's about accepting and moving forward. So the link is in the description if you guys want to attend or join. It's either top, bottom, somewhere in the comment section. And join us this Thursday at 5:30 and see.
It's going to be super awesome. And I love dreaming bigger. So we're not going to keep ourselves poor. We're going to dream bigger. We're going to figure it out, whether it's couponing, starting our own LLC, educating our children, educating each other, joining a group, like an entrepreneur group, because we have a membership as well. Yes. So with a membership, it's really cool. You get to not only attend the events, but there's going to be so much more that comes with it. And
there's a classroom forum where you can express and share some of the things you've learned. There is a forum section where you can ask questions from other entrepreneurs. And it's very much like Facebook. It's exclusive, so you're not going to be,
it's not your business is not all out there to
Facebook. I mean, you're not there to sell. You're there to really get to know each other. And really the basis for every business is your network and who you know. So much so than trying to spend thousands of dollars on AdWorks or thousands of dollars just sending out marketing flyers and you get 0 responses for it.
So basically they can get rid of one of their subscriptions to something that wastes their time like Netflix.
and learn how to grow their business.
You can borrow from somebody and then you can redirect that money back to this forum, because if you really want to focus on money and I shouldn't say money. Ew, that's gross. If you really want to focus on bettering yourself and not worrying about money, which is I feel like what a lot of people are doing right now, and find a path outside, whether you have a career or expanding your passion into a purpose, this is a great opportunity to come to the event. And if you love the event, then you can subscribe to it, drop Netflix, and hang out with us and talk to us and learn and then grow your sphere. And it manifests. It's like the gremlins, right? They eat a little bit of chicken and they just get, there's more and more come. Or
I think it's the water thing.
It's the water.
They drop water.
So basically drink our water.
Yeah, they can't eat after midnight. That's what turns them into a gremlin.
Nobody should eat after midnight. Except me. I keep Pop-Tarts by my bed.
But since this is a housing show, I'm going to show a couple stats. I mean, we're just not in an environment where it's very renter or purchase friendly. We've gone over this week after week talking about the inventory levels. Inventory right now is still at a half-month supply. It's just horrible. There is just no end in sight as far as having inventory. People keep waiting for that crash. That crash is way up here. If we were inventory up here, I would say we're in prime more for a crash. But right now, there's no such thing. We are at the trough of inventory. And as crazy it is, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately, from my perspective and from my opinion, also too, the median sales price is up since last year. We're looking at about a 23% gain. So this time last year, we're my gosh, all the way down here. Look at January 2021. The median sales price for a home was $380,000 here in the Maricopa County. Now we're at $485,000, so a 23% increase. And from the information that I have, the highest increase across the nation. Rental wise, I think we're up 40% year over year from me. So it is not friendly. It is not welcoming. But I wish I had better news. If you're selling, let's get it on the market now.
Yeah.
Let's get that girl going. So,
and if you want to prep to buy,
I would say
great tools.
Yes, we do have people and contacts if you want to get ready for that purchasing.
Oh, I love that you said great contacts. If you ever talk to somebody and they want to send you to a credit repair company, don't do it. If they're like, oh, you're going to pay $300 and they'll repair your credit, hell no. Can I say that? Hell no? Hell no. Don't do it.
Say whatever you want.
I'm telling you, I repaired my credit by myself. It was a lot of tears, a lot of beers. Like, it sucked. It was a nightmare. But I didn't pay anybody to do it.
No.
And a lot of times those credit repair companies, not discrediting credit repair companies, I'm sure there's good ones out there, just don't do it.
I guess from your experience.
Yeah. I've heard so many nightmare stories. And again, Excel spreadsheet, budget, coupon. Like, oh, we can do it and we can help you.
So, is there anything else we need to talk about, Miss, before we wrap? What did we learn today? Anything?
That we all should make some really awesome financial goals and not listen to the noise in our economy, because we are in charge of ourselves and our money and what we do with our lives, and we can turn our passion into a purpose, and we all have a purpose. We just sometimes have to find it.
Well said. How could I follow up with that? So Rob Morales, our CEO Network, here every Monday talking about the Phoenix housing market, things we can do to help each other out. Ashley Miller, Great American Title, thank you for coming on. We'll be here next week. See you guys soon. Thursday.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. We said we forgot about it. We literally just forgot about it.
I was so happy.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.